All right, welcome back, class. It is week 3. Week 3, our case study is looking at our ally just south of the border. We're going to be looking at Mexico, the drug cartel, and the violence that has come with that, with those drugs. This is your professor, Professor Brant Ellsworth. And in this video, just a quick overview of some of the materials and assignments for this week. As you can see here in the checklist, once again, I am back with another video overview, providing some historical context to the drug crisis in Mexico, giving special attention to the role of government, federal government, and how the federal government in their opportunity in taking a chance to overthrow some of these drug cartels have only seen a rise in violence come as a result of that. So go ahead and take a listen. We'll be recording both a video and, if all my technology works, I will be making that video accessible as an MP3 file, meaning that you can download it as you're making your commute or get your cell phone handy listening to a podcast. You can just go ahead and add that video to your playlist and listen to it as you run, as you exercise, or as you're just sitting around working. I hope this is a convenient way for you to hear some of this material. All right, so in addition to that, there are a few readings, a Wall Street Journal article, and some research done by the Congressional Research Service on Mexico. Both fascinating reads and both fairly current. In addition, we'll be looking at a document published by the Department of State, which is analyzing the United States' relationship with Mexico, paying special attention to the role that the United States can have in helping to end the violence taking place there. This week in the assignments and projects, once again, there is one major assignment, just the discussion board. Now, this is purposeful. The weekly response that we did last week will pick up again next week. But as this is week 3, this is a good opportunity for you, my students, to begin conducting some of that early research on your first conflict report. Now, conflict reports, if you're not completely familiar with what the conflict report is, I would encourage you to do one of two things. First, either go over to the syllabus, go ahead and click on it, and read it. Or second, I've made this tab here called Assignment Descriptions. Should you follow it, it'll take you to a list of all the different projects, the different types of assignments that we will be having in this class. You'll see that the very first one listed is called Conflict Report Number 1, and you'll see that it's worth 25% of your final grade. This is a doozy, and this is due at the end of week 6. So it is not tomorrow, but the time is fastly approaching. Now in this assignment, you can go ahead and read this. You can see what I'm expecting you to do. But now that you have selected a global conflict, your role is to do some research on it, to understand the background, the historical context. What are the events that help give rise to this conflict? There are 4 specific things that I'm looking for in your report. First, a description of the location. Second, some historical background. Third, an overview of the major players. And now this does not need to be limited to politicians or leaders, but this could also include bigger things, entities like political parties, companies, organizations, or as we saw, as we see this week, it could be things like drug cartels. So who are the major players? Who are the major players on each side? And explain what their views are. And then fourth, what is the source of the conflict? So I'm bringing this up to your attention now because as it is week 3, this is probably an opportune time for you to begin doing some of that preliminary research, going through looking for historical documents, looking at current events, reading through newspaper articles. I want to point your attention over here to this tab called Web Resources. Now here in Web Resources, I have compiled a huge list of online databases, engines, and other sources that I know to be very valuable, especially as you're doing some preliminary research. I would encourage you to look here through some of these web resources before going to Google and reading on Wikipedia. What you'll find here is that these are written not necessarily for a general audience, but for those people engaged in international relations or who are more knowledgeable about international affairs, like you, students in this global conflicts class, should be. I also want to point your attention here to the bookshelf Text on Global Conflicts. This is a link that once you are signed in will take you to a bookshelf that I have created. Looks like I have signed out. Let me go ahead and sign in real quick. Now this is a program that we call eBrary through ProQuest, also known as the eBook Central. And you can access this through the library's webpage. Now coming here and searching up here in the top, you will find that this is a database of 10,000 plus academic texts on a variety of topics. What I've done is I've gone through and found some more valuable ones, and if you click on it, this will be a digital text, meaning that you can read this online, you can download this, you can print this. Go ahead and zoom out. And what I've done is I found about 20 different online texts that I believe can be valuable to you as you're doing some preliminary research. Alright, so again, this is the eBook Central. You do not have to use the articles that I have pointed out, but you certainly can. Alright, so that is it for this week. Please begin your preliminary work, looking through your global conflict, beginning writing that first report, and make sure that your discussion board is filled out, initial response by Wednesday, and a secondary response by Sunday. Alright, good luck this week. As always, should you have any questions, please email me at brantellsworth@centralpenn.edu.